Welcome to Light Sessions with Sloane, the podcast for women who know more is possible and want to bring it into their lives now. I'm Sloane, a personal and professional coach for women, and if you're here, I know you're dedicated to growth and you care about your purpose and impact. Let's dive in to explore living life even more on purpose. So when I was building my law firm, I had gotten a bunch of momentum going, and I was meeting in person with over 300 people a year. I was meeting with my clients. I'm creating this whole new way of offering corporate legal services. I was traveling around the country doing all these personal growth conferences and events. I'm the mom of a young daughter. And within this, I get to this point where I was only sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. So I was really excited about everything I just described. And I was also completely exhausted. Go to bed tired, toss and turn, wake up in the morning still tired, lots of coffee, keep it going full speed. And the reason I was doing this is actually because at one point I looked around and I was like, who are the most successful people I know? And they were all men. They were accountants and lawyers and other professionals, and literally all men. So I'm like, okay, I need to do the things they're doing. And I just started trying to emulate them. Well, what I didn't realize at the time is that they had a completely different context than I did. I actually realized later they all had stay-at-home wives, women who were, doing all these things for them behind the scenes, that in the end, I was trying to kind of do it all. And so as I go, I'm like, I want to be more like them. I actually wanted to be more masculine. So I learned how to golf. I would be smoking cigars with the guys on the golf course. I started swearing a lot, and I dressed like a woman. I looked very feminine, but I was definitely cultivating my masculinity to not only create more success, but also to try to be more powerful in the legal world, and especially corporate legal world is mostly men. And I'm sure you may have your version of this. We have a lot of industries and circumstances, and I mean, our world in general is in a very masculine way. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. In fact, I think men are so extraordinary. I love living life at this time. It's so beautiful. And when we start to realize the cost to women of creating from this masculine place, we start to realize that we have got to try something different. I have conversations with women all over the world, and I hear things like how depleted and exhausted women are at best. So many women are facing burnout, feeling like, is this all there is to my life? This doing, and going all the time. Lots of women then experience anxiety, depression, autoimmune disease. And, even in my situation of working all that time and barely sleeping at all, what I came to see after the fact, after I sold my law firm, was how small I kept it. I created a successful law firm as law firms go. And then when I looked back, I was like, oh my gosh, I could have been so much more. I could have helped so many more people. I came to see that me, a woman trying to create success like a man, actually has the effect of, yes, it creates some success, but it really, in the end, keeps me quite small. I knew that so much more was possible for me. So what does it actually look like for us as women to create success in a feminine way? That's what we're here to talk about today. And I'm so excited to share with you what I've learned, because I've been cultivating this practice and this process over many years, as I've also been working with women around the world and supporting them in cultivating this in their own lives and their own businesses. And I want to clarify something really important, first of all, which is when I talk about success, I'm talking about success in every single area of your life. So that's creating financial success. That's all kinds of abundance wherever you want to feel that feeling of abundance in your life. And that's even in creating relationships, because that masculine way of doing it, what I described earlier, in the end, how you do anything is how you do everything. And of course, I was creating that way do more, find another strategy, do the next thing, keep it going. And the more I can do, the more I can create. I was doing that in all areas of life as we do. So, what we're talking about, applies to every single area of your life. And I want to share a big picture idea for inspiration of how you can think about creating success the feminine way. And I'm going to share a practice with you that if you were to focus in one area, is the most important area to focus. And first, I want to share just a couple caveats, a couple things for your consideration. So the first one is, this might not seem logical to you. This is very different than me sharing a step-by-step strategy or, the things you need to do exactly piece by piece to make this work. And it might not seem logical until you actually experience it. And when you do, it's like, oh, I get it. I finally understand how logical this really is. It's just not logical in the current paradigm of our world and the way things are set up, the way we've been taught. For most of us, the feminine way of being has been marginalized, pushed down, deleted, pushed aside, or ignored. I know that's the truth for me. I always thought of femininity as weak. I always thought of it as more lazy. Even when people would talk about being feminine, I'm thinking of like goddesses frolicking in the water and people who don't really have anything else to do. And it was kind of like, well, I have things to do. I want to create success. I have this life's work to do. So I have to be more masculine. And it turns out that nothing is further from the truth. It's just that is the common narrative of our world today. So while this may not make logical sense, if you can put that aside and if it feels like really out there or something that feels like you can't quite grasp, that's actually perfect. That means that this is in the unknown, and the unknown is the place where everything you really want that you don't yet have resides. So after you accept that this might not be logical or linear feeling to you, I want to invite you to consider what I'm going to share, and actually even this process of creating success the feminine way, as an adventure, as a journey that you're going on. You might be well along the way on the journey. You might be just beginning. But wherever you are, how joyful and soulful and fun can you make this like a real adventure? Like you're going to an exotic country and you have no idea what's going to happen. That's really what this is about. We are pioneering the creation of what this looks like for us as women. And you and I are part of it now. I'm deep in this process. I don't have all the answers. I'm not fully living in this. There are times I swing back into the masculine doing and way of being. But this has become a consistent state of being for me. And I've certainly learned a lot over these years. And that's what I'm bringing you now. This idea that I want to lead us into to share as a potential highest point of inspiration for your journey on creating success the feminine way. So to frame what I'm going to share, this is actually about a new way of being, a new state of being. It's saying that the way you are experiencing life from the inside is actually more important than the things you do on the outside. And if we give it like the highest view possible, I think it's obvious that what's going on the inside is creating the actions that we're taking on the outside. And at the same time, it can be really easy to forget that in a world where we've been taught that you do one thing and it causes another, that it's your actions that matter the most. So this idea that I want to share with you today, this most important piece for your consideration of creating success the feminine way, is the journey to becoming a woman who's magnetic. Now, I had a business coach many years ago who I love, and I still follow her online. And one of her big ongoing messages is like, beware of any woman who talks about, oh, creating a life of ease, creating your business through ease, becoming magnetic, all of these things as if they're like a fairy tale that you could just follow and kind of sit back in the couch and I'm magnetic and now everything comes to me and I don't have to even try for it. So, on one hand, I understand what she's saying. There is no creation without action. Your action brings into reality what you have on your heart to create. But just because this woman isn't recognizing the power of magnetism doesn't actually mean she's not using it. I personally believe that she is a very magnetic person. I experienced that with her. And I almost think that it's so innate to who she is that she doesn't even realize how powerful this is as her state of being. So it's not really just her strategy that's creating the outcome. It actually is her state of being magnetic that is pulling things to her. And then she has some powerful strategies that have worked really well for her. So, what is being magnetic? What does that actually mean? It's not creating a way of being that's so pleasing to other people that they want to be around you. It's not doing enough of what other people feel you should, that you're finally good enough or accepted or in that crowd that you want to be in. Being magnetic stems from feeling so connected to who you are, to yourself on the inside, supporting yourself so completely on the inside, loving yourself so fiercely that it overflows out of you and puts out an energy that people can actually feel. It's an energy that you are feeling so good that from this state of overflow of your good feeling, people are like, what is going on with that woman? What does she have happening in her world? I want to know about it. I want to be around her. If she sells something that I can use, I'd like to look into buying that. What does she have going on? It's from that place and that experience of other people is just showing the magnetism that we actually draw circumstances, people, opportunities into our life that is either what we've been envisioning or even better than we thought it could be. That is the state of being magnetic. So being magnetic is living with this inner world experience that feels so good on the inside. That's like your best friend, your best lover. It feels so connected, so joyful being with you that it's overflowing out into the world. And this state of being is actually something that I call true pleasure. So true pleasure is the deep, fulfilling joy that comes from living authentically and in alignment with your true desires and values. It's experiencing life with this sense of ease and connection and purpose. And this is the adventure. This is the process of learning to become a woman who has that experience. You know, awareness is the first step in growth, but it's not everything. And this is something I think is really important for us to just touch on here. Learning about true pleasure, learning about the value and importance of feeling good on the inside, learning even about becoming magnetic as a foundation of creating the feminine way isn't enough to do it. For most of us women, this requires a complete evolution of who we are, how we see ourselves, and then how we're living our lives. And it's so rich to go on this journey and figure out, how do I do that? And there are so many pieces of this. I actually have developed a framework around it. This is the context of my book that's coming out next year. I'm so excited to share with you. And in the meantime, this process looks like creating space in your life, getting in touch with your own inner guidance to understand what your next steps are from the highest, truest part of yourself. It involves having difficult conversations with the people you love, the people in your life. It really is developing a presence so that no matter what you're doing or who you're with, you're engaged, you're present. It's where you want to be. It's what you've chosen for your life. And it involves embracing your feminine gifts, learning about your gifts as a woman and learning to live with them and learning to express and use these gifts that we've been given. This is such a nourishing, beautiful way to live. And if you want to start, if you're like, whoa, Sloane, this is a huge undertaking, good, I'm glad. That's exciting. It's opening up new possibilities in so many ways. And even if you've heard everything that I've shared here before, then the invitation is, okay, what's the kernel for you that you're taking away that's important for you for the next steps on this path? And if you want to focus on one area, to one thing that's going to have the greatest impact that you can focus on today, right now, to make a change in your life, the area of focus I would recommend is on practicing trusting yourself. That is trusting yourself no matter what. Trusting yourself to make the next best decision for you, even though you have no idea what's going to happen in the future, even though you don't know how things are going to turn out, even though you've made poor decisions in the past that have caused you pain or struggle or hurt people you've loved. Trusting yourself from here going forward that I know I'm going to make the best decision I can in the moment. I'm not going to look back and beat up on myself or doubt myself. And then in every next moment, no matter what happens, I'm going to learn from what happened and I'm going to make the next best decision for myself. If you can practice cultivating that moment to moment, every time that voice in your head arises that's like, well, remember you did that? You hurt that person. Oof, you made a big mistake there. You wasted all that money. Whatever it is for you when that arises, to comfort yourself. Oh yeah, that was really hard. That hurt. Whatever you need to do to comfort yourself in the moment, and then pick yourself up and say, no matter what, that did happen. I'm going to trust myself now to do my best, and I'm moving this forward. If you can practice that in every moment, you are making a huge leap towards developing this magnetism. It does not exist without this level of self-trust. Trusting yourself no matter what. And it's from that place that true pleasure comes. So this magnetism, this creating success the feminine way, is the path that feels so much more nourishing. It feels so much easier, and it's possible for every single one of us. All you have to do is continue on the journey of creating it in your own world. And I'm so excited to be on this adventure with you. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Light Sessions. Follow me on Instagram at Heart and Sloane. Click the link in the show notes. Can't wait to connect with you soon.